Hello, I am the Lazy Craftsman,
And I'm his lazy wife.
and today our topic is going to be on gravity, microgravity, dark matter, and dark energy. Before we start our experimentation, we need to let you know that we will not be showing our faces at all to keep our personal lives a secret. Reason being is we like our personal life as the way it is now. I have insomnia, and so I don't like a lot of noise in my life, except for the ones I create. And then, just
Another thing I think is important for a video to know is that we are not professional scientists. We were, this discovery kind of fell in our laps while we were studying other things. I do have a bachelor's degree.
And I don't have any. I have some college, but I have no degree. So we are not any scientific professionals. And another important note is we are not funded by any person but ourselves. This project, or what we were working on, when we discovered this, it was not intended to find gravity, but it, like my wife said, it fell onto our laps through observation, and we tested on Earth things, and we found that this is gravity. But we don't want, so this is not for any monetary gain, because if it was, we would have sold it to Jeff Bezos so he could have the first spaceship with gravity on there, and being Elon Musk to it. So it's not for any monetary gain. The whole reason why we're releasing this is we kind of waited it out. We wanted someone else to, figure it out and then post and then publish it. But after waiting for 2 years, and so this was in 2023 that we did it. And we waited 2 years and no one ever came out with it, and I was kind of highly disappointed. And so I'm kind of bored lately with the direction of science and all that, and what's going on in the world. So I figured I might as well.
Yeah, we're not doing this for the money. We're not doing this for fame. We're doing this to move work forward.
Yeah, just to put the information out into the world. All right, because I don't enjoy it when I read a news article and they're talking about warp space and all that stuff, or sci-fi things, and they're adding sci-fi to reality when they still haven't figured out the most fundamental of all, gravity, or when they're talking about microgravity even. And I'm like, how can you talk about microgravity when you don't even know how gravity works? And so it's really annoying when I read all these scientific articles and these people are making 6 digits and they're just putting, I don't want to use, they were pointing out, no swearing, they were pointing out junk research. That's the best way, without swearing, alright? So, and the reason why we're doing this is, this video usually takes like over an hour, just like this is our time. And I'm trying to get this under an hour. And so, I'm going to be starting with the hardest and heaviest thing, which is a rock. Alright? So, the rock always takes me like freaking 30 minutes, to do. And I know no one wants to watch 30 minutes of me just rubbing on this glass for 30 minutes. So you're kind of curious, right? What's the board, piece of wood, and a glass gonna do to show you gravity, right? Well, a lot actually. You'd be surprised. So this piece of board right here, right? I'm gonna start rubbing while I talk. So this piece of wood right here, right? I got from trash. It was a bed frame. And then this glass, I bought it, it's a special type of glass. It's plexiglass. Oop, I actually forgot to show you. It's just so that you can see that we did not glue anything to this glass, right? You can see, I don't want to show you too much because we're not trying to publicize, my words aren't working right now. we're not trying to show people our lives, you know, because the thing is, I don't want to show my backyard and people will be like, oh, I know where that is. So we prepped some stuff ahead of time. This is the third video, and so like I said, I messed up. I swear a bit too much here and there, and then the second video I did, I messed up again. I got bored while doing this, and I talked about my personal life a little bit. It was not much, but it was enough to kind of like, just enough, we'll just say that. And so, alright, I'm gonna rotate that because it's the glare. Alright, so what I'm going to show you, right, is the pebble. So in the second video, I found that I'm going to have to cheat a little bit because gravity has to do something called weight, or mass, right? And just not, so when you think about Newton's law of gravity, right, where it says mass 1, mass 2, well, he's wrong but right in a sense, because it does have to do with mass. It has nothing to do with density. Now, if you have two objects that are the same size, but one is a rock and one is a piece of wood, it's different, you know, because the wood weighs less. I'm gonna have an easier time to pull it up than a piece of rock, because I am working right now against Earth's gravity. All right, so we have Earth's gravity right now that I'm working up against by trying to pull this up. And I might sound like I'm a little rushed, but I was recording and then for some reason the disc only had 8 minutes on it left, even though I deleted all the files and had to reformat the thing. Like, I waste like, I don't know, 10 minutes of just talking, and so now I'm kind of like annoyed, I guess.
Thrown off your groove.
Yeah, thrown off and annoyed, you know, that I did all that. Because I'm not gonna lie, this rubbing here gets exhausting. So this is my dark matter. It's a joke, obviously. The dark matter, microgravity, and dark energy. I'm using them as jokes in this video. But what I'm really talking about is gravity itself, alright? So I'm using my dark matter right here to generate electrostatic. And by generating electrostatic, I am making an electrical field, right? And so if you really read anything online about plexiglass, you can see it, the numbers, all right? I'm not going to tell you what they are, because the thing is, I've talked to a lot of people online and they don't know what the heck they're talking about half the time, besides so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. And so I need you to do a little bit of research so you know or understand a little bit if you decide to quote me later on and just not be like, well, go watch this video, because if you do, you're an idiot. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, but anyway. I'm not trying to be mean in this one, but at the same time, I don't like it when people just, because I talk to a lot of them online, well, in the past, I used to talk to so many people online, and man, these guys they annoyed me, truthfully, because they'd be like, oh, look, I'm so smart because, you know, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that, and then I'll be like, okay, well, then, you know, then tell me, how does it actually work? And they're like, well, I don't fucking know. Oh, I'm swearing. Well, I don't know, you know, or they're like, well, you know, they can't tell you, and is essentially what it is, and they're like, well, just go read this or go watch this video, you know, because so truthfully, do you really know, or you just like to sound like you're smart, you know what I mean? And truthfully, they're not smart at all. And so I just don't, I'm not a fan of those type of people who like to pretend, especially, or they just like to, have you seen, was it,
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, that's it, Good Will Hunting. You remember that scene where the guy's at the bar, you know, and then, what's the dude's name again?
Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon, he goes and he's like, you know, he just like puts them in, you know, shames them, like, you know, alright, so next year what, you're going to just quote this other guy, you know, now? But the thing is, do you really know what you're talking about, or are you just like copying someone else, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say here. Alright, so as you can see, right, nothing, right? You're like, oh man, this guy's been rubbing that glass for the last like 4 minutes or so. Yeah, well, it's a rock. Rocks are heavy. Alright, and here's the thing, you gotta understand. The EF of this planet is so much bigger, alright, than the EF that I'm generating right now on this plexiglass. And so like I said, I will have to cheat because there's something that plays into gravity too, and that's the distance of the matter that you're trying to pull to the source. You see that? So you see how that just ripped the rock out of my hand and threw it somewhere else? It's because it's going somewhere else. Okay, anyways. Let me try it. Darn it. Alright, so it attached itself. But as you can see, the gravitational pull wasn't where I was rubbing. It shifted somewhere else. You see that rock right there? See that? Alright, so I'm gonna see how... this shifted again. By moving this, I'm shifting the gravitational pull of it, alright? So, as you can see, this is... And let me pull it a little closer. These are little pebbles. I crushed them with a hammer just to show you, like, how hard it is to get a little bit of pebble onto this glass, alright? So, you see that one right there? Yeah, there. That's a pebble, alright? That's a piece of pebble. Gosh, it's so freaking small that, you know, it's like, I have to point it out. Plus, okay. The camera can't really pick it up, but, alright. So, anyway, so that is a piece of pebble right there. See how, like, I touched it, but it still stayed? Alright? I don't know if you really saw that or not, alright? So, let me try to tamper with it again. Oh, no, I messed it up. But, anyways, I'm getting kind of tired. You could do it. You play around with it. Pebble, I mean, the more it weighs, the harder it is to pull, obviously, just because of its mass. And you're, like I said, right now we're fighting against Earth's gravity. All right. And
even when we did it with the drill, it took a pretty long time. Yeah,
and so you gotta understand something. I'm not rich or anything. I don't make six figures, so I don't got a spaceship to go outer space and do this project, you know. But if the government, the United States government wants to send me, that's pretty cool. And I would love $20 billion too. And now that's like the 50th time I said that. So you can see, right, this one has a lot harder time because it's obviously heavier. I believe that's the pebble, is it? Is that the pebble? Nope. Yeah, it is part. Okay, so I'll show you something else though. You see this wood? See how that wood is attached right now? Yes. So that wasn't attached before, but now it is, right? And let me just pull it off, and I'll let you watch as it gets sucked on. Because now with all that rubbing I did, I generated electrical field, right? All right, the best way thing. All right, so anyways, I give up the rock for now because I already showed you really that it sticks, right? It sticks. And I just don't feel like doing this anymore. with the pebble. You saw it. I mean, if you didn't see it, you could do it yourself, and you could feel the exhaustion. You know, if you don't believe it, go for it. You know, I get the camera sucks. I'm shooting with a Canon R50. You know, okay. So, and I didn't buy any new improved lens. So, I have some materials over here. I'm gonna use salt, black pepper, this aluminum foil, more rocks. This is grass. That's sawdust. All right, and I will show you. Can you? I need sun. Yeah, more. Yeah, there you go. Lighting. So today's a cloudy day. All right. So here's what I need to do. My wife is I need to just sprinkle that, you know, in different areas of the board. All right, and like we usually do. Okay, so I'm gonna just show it. My wife is doing. No, just don't use artificial light. You know, I hate artificial light. Okay, salt. So just pour salt there. Aluminum foil. Just pick it up pieces and throw it in. Okay, so she's gonna put the aluminum foil. Just try not to put all of them in one spot. You remember, because of how gravity works. Remember that? You can only hold so much. All right, and because of how it's dispersed through the glass. You know, remember that? Yeah. So. Okay, that's all right. Yeah. So that's grass. We already got rocks. Don't worry about it. Let's do sawdust. You do sawdust in here. Sawdust is like the easiest one to grab.
Here?
Yeah, and salt, you know. You want to get some black pepper and have it crinkled in here too. And then, so while my wife is doing that, this is dandelion, you know. So, and then the white dandelion blooms. There you go, from outside. It's just some dirt or whatever, you know. And so the black pepper, that's dandelion. Okay. All right. Actually, I'll put that in the bigger room.
You want styrofoam?
Styrofoam for what? No. Styrofoam's later. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. This is like $1 billion experiment with, I don't know, 30 bucks. All right, you can do this with 30 bucks. It's, you know, some scientists will claim you need billions of dollars to conduct this research. While we did it for cheap, and we're gonna show it to you, and for free, because we're not stingy like those. I mean, it was great being the only one to know this knowledge for a while. For 2 years, I did release the knowledge, but then YouTube algorithm buried it, and actually I was kind of glad when I took it down, because truthfully, man, when you're the only one who knows something, it feels pretty damn great, you know. So that was that. Okay, so what you can observe, right, is can you please focus? Stop that. Remember what happened last time? All right, I just need you to focus on what we're doing right now, please. All right. All right, so what you can see over here, right, is the wood has started to pick up. All right, and like I said, the easiest thing, right, because we're working against Earth's gravity. The wood, look it up, wood has no magnetic properties, right? So it's not magnetism that's picking any of this up. So I used to think that it was electromagnetism that caused gravity, and I was half right. What really causes it, so gravity is a byproduct of the electrical field of this planet. And when you think about how big this planet really is and how strong that electrical field is, it's pretty damn big and strong. And so obviously it's going to be able to grab rocks and all that stuff, and you know. Whereas I'm struggling with a piece of rock, right? But yeah, so that's just how life is. All right, so normally, so I'm not gonna see what this experiment was really truly about, because that's for my own personal knowledge. You'll never probably ever hear about it. But so as you can see, the aluminum foil is up there now, right? We got a bit of salt. I don't know if you can see that. And then let's move over to the dandelions. Ooh, that's a glare. Okay, let's move this again. Okay, so that's the dandelion right here. Gotta get a good angle. Can you just hold it in front? Makes it easier, you know. If you just like come over here and just hold on to the dandelion, and somebody trying to get angles, you know. You just be the cameraman, camera woman. So, as you can see, we got the aluminum. Where's the grass again? Okay, grass is over here. So I'm gonna try and grab. I gotta rub it for a while. So,
looks like some of it's
that's wood or something else, as you can see. Oh, it gets, like I said, this gets tiring, you know. I don't have much cardio anymore these days in my life because just personal issues, you know. And so, there we go. See, the dandelion got picked up. I don't know if you saw it or not. But the thing is, it's me. because it grabbed the wood first, you know. So like I said, there's a limit, as you can see with this. So if you shift it to the wood, if you look at the wood, right, it's not picking up all the sawdust, but only a few. It's because there's a limitation to gravity and what it can pull. And if you can figure out that number, you're essentially golden. You know why you're golden? Because let's say if the meteorite was hurling by Earth, right, and you're worried that it's gonna get sucked in by Earth's gravity, well, if the mass of it exceeds what Earth can pull in, its gravitational properties can pull in right now, then you don't even have to worry about it because it's gonna fly right by, you know. And so yeah, so you don't have to worry because there is a limitation. And so here's also one of the things we have to be worried about. As we start removing matter, materials from this planet to send to our space, we got to be careful how much we send. Because as we remove matter, right, now the Earth's able to grab more matter. So let's say that meteorite, right, before Earth wouldn't pull it because it had all its matter. But then we send all these spaceships out into space. Bam! Now it can pull it in because now it just met the requirement of weight, you know, to be pulled in. Alright? So, I don't know if you can see, right? But
you can see the aluminum sticking.
Alright, let's go back to let's go to the grass actually. Alright, anything that's... Are you able to see the grass at all? If you can't, I need you to move and get an angle on it. Like what my wife said before, we used to use a drill with wool or plastic wrap, but as it rubbed, it made so much of a mess that I decided to do this instead. Plus, then I could do this dark matter joke, you know. And so, yeah, so you see the grass, it pulled on the grass, and it wasn't before, so yeah, and so. Alright, I'm getting tired. As you can see, I pretty much pulled up everything except for the pebbles. But, like I said, alright, so I'm gonna lift this up, right? And then you're gonna show... Don't show my face. Gonna show how everything's still stuck, right? Now, there's no glue or whatsoever holding this up. You know, this is all being held through... I guess you could say maybe electrostatic, but I'm not too sure. But like I said, gravity is a byproduct of electrical field, all right, or electrostatic, whatever you want, and which one you want to use. But yeah, so the main cause of it, but truthfully in the end, is electrical field. All right, that's what truly causes gravity. Is like how light is a byproduct of fire, gravity is a byproduct of electromagnetic. All right, electromagnetism. Yeah, so we do have dandelion, leaf, salt, some salt, I don't know if you can see it, wood chips, don't show my face, and then, you know, okay, so on to the next topic of conversation, alright, microgravity. So we talked about gravity and I showed you gravity, right? What is gravity? Gravity is the force that pulls things, right, to this earth. Well, what did I just do? I pulled this against Earth's gravity. Before I showed you it wasn't doing it, but then I introduced electric static to create an EF on this plexiglass, and now I created gravity, right? So now that we figured out gravity, let's talk about microgravity. You want to come over here and then styrofoam? Yeah. So this one, we're going to use styrofoam, right? This is a great example to talk about Newton's law of mass 1, mass 2, right? And microgravity, right? So if you want to point to right here, these two, all right? These two are styrofoam. You want to get closer or zoom in? You know. All right. So my wife's not a great camera person, but she'll do because she's my wife. But all right, so these two are stuck to the wall, right? This is drywall, all right? And what we have right there is two charged styrofoams. Now, if you read on styrofoam on the internet, it says it holds electrical charge, right? So now let's say, right, if Newton's law was correct, right, mass 1, mass 2, great, but it's wrong. So I'm going to show you, right? This is styrofoam right here, not charged, but I'm going to rub it on the wall, right? So if Newton was right and it's about mass 1, mass 2, then all that was stuck, but it didn't stick, did it? Here, let me just... No, it didn't stick, all right? So it did not stick to the wall. All right, let me just throw it so they can, they can see it from the camera. All right. Okay, so see that how it doesn't stick at all? All right, so it's not about mass 1, mass 2. All right, and it's not about all right, so microgravity. Cool. If microgravity truly exists, that would have happened. This would have stuck right there. Why is it sticking out? Because these two was previously charged, all right? These were previously charged, all right? Not anymore. They were previously charged, all right? And so that's why these stuck. But obviously I messed it up. And yes, you might think, oh man, there's, was it just sticking out to the crevices? So, alright, so I think the best way to show that is this piece right here, right? It doesn't stick, right? Boom, right? Okay, it doesn't stick. Or this one doesn't stick, right? And then we're gonna grab it. And then, so right here. So, you keep fault objects. Okay, so we're gonna charge it, right? By obviously doing this. Oops, and that also broke down a little bit. So, oops. So, oh, I'm wrong. It's not charged enough. Gosh darn it. Oh, I hate when this stuff happens. Alright, there is some that are charged. Come over here. Alright, so you gonna come. So, if you look onto the side of this, right? Yeah, it looks dirty. But there's some charged styrofoam from earlier when I was throwing it away. Alright? As you can see, this is styrofoam. Alright. These, and they're not being stuck on through to grease. Alright. Shoot, let me try to get one without messing it up. Alright, now let's go back up. This is not planned at all, people, so just bear with me, as none of this is planned. Alright, besides the fact that this is our third time doing it, and there's a reason why I didn't charge it. It takes a minute to charge things, alright? So you just bear with the video of watching. Okay, you want to point down so they see as I charge these things here. Okay, see if it's charged. Okay, let's see. So that one's stuck because I was able to get one small enough. Okay, so that's not sticking, that one. Alright, let me... I can grab some other ones, some bigger pieces, see if they stick. Nope. Okay, so obviously I need to charge it enough. We got one small one, but the problem is charging. Now, if you know a better way of charging these, go for it. Obviously I am not a scientist like we've stated in the beginning. It was just a simple observation we made, and we were like, oh wow, and then we just just start going, seeing what else stuck, and before we knew it was like, hey, yeah, this is gravity. In the past, so this board right here is the 5th board that we made. There was 4 before this one, but we burned all of it after we completed what we were doing. This is the last one, and it will be burned too after we completed what we're doing with it. The purpose of it, you will never know. Can you please look at where you're shining? So is this on the feet? Okay. Alright, so hopefully this is charged enough. We will see. Okay, we will see, right? Holy crap. Oh, this is gonna give me a neck ache. What's wrong? You can talk if you want. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, go for it. There, yep, well, there you go. Smarter. Man, my wife did it smart way. Alright, as you can see, right, they're all sticking compared to before. Bam. Wow, see, that's why I need the wife here. Alright, so it's stuck, alright? Compared to before, as you can see, all those particles were have been detached for a long time. They weren't charged. I'm struggling, obviously. Should have just done it the smart way. So, I'm going to show you too something now. That gravity is not affected by magnetism at all. So, as you can see, where is our room, right? So, you see our room right here? This is a magnet, right? Two magnets together. See how it's not really affecting this at all? Alright? As I move it, none of it is being affected, right? Alright? So, it suggests that magnetism, yes, it might affect metal objects with electrical charges, but when it comes to the basics of gravity itself, magnetism doesn't. All right. So, so the styrofoam is our microgravity joke right here. All right, microgravity. Bam! Scientists, billions of dollars in studying it. Boom! Right there for you. All with, what is that? $20? $20, all right? And you didn't have to waste billions of dollars on microgravity. So, whew, gosh, I'm exhausted. Now, for the greatest of all of it, all right? We've all been waiting for.
Piece de resistance.
Dark matter, all right? So, people, got my dark matter right here. I'm going to introduce my dark matter, and I'm going to create dark energy. Alright? Oh, see that? This is a glass. I'm on the other side of it, and I've been touching it. Look at that. Dark energy, people. So, onto this topic, right? So, if gravity isn't affected by magnetism, right? Can we get a pencil? Pencil. So, pen. So, I'm gonna draw something for you. All right. Now you could obviously, I'm tired of doing this because this is the fourth time, right? So let's say this is Earth right here, right? And if it's not affected by magnetism, you know what we could do? We could go to your planets, harvest their material, right? And build a dome around Earth. Alright? Why the shape of this? Because we gotta travel through space, right? North Pole, South Pole. And you use the negative poles to push. And we do this for the sun too. And so essentially what we could do is we can move through the universe on our planet. You see how, remember like those movies, how they always got abandoned Earth because it's dying? Well, now we don't have to anymore. Through understanding of gravity, we could actually place the Earth to a position that we want it to, so that every year as the planet gets hotter because it gets closer to the sun, that's one of the factors besides carbon in the air that the temperature is rising. We are getting closer to heat source. That's a fact. When you get closer to heat source, it gets warmer. If you think otherwise, then obviously you live in a sci-fi world, and I'm not gonna talk to you. I don't care about you people, the ones who live in your delusional world. All right, you go live in your delusional world all you want, but the facts are facts. All right, we use the negative poles to push on each other and move through space. What this does is all those stuff, it pushes it out of the way. Alright? And if we can harvest all the planets surrounding and we create this dome, right? We can move the sun, and our planet through space, and when the sun's about to die, we take new suns along the way and visit our planets, alright? Now, the biggest problem with this idea is you can't let any one government control it, because if you ever played any like Sim City game or City Skylines, the first one, not the second one. The second one sucks, and that company should go fail because they didn't allow it, so I can't destroy my own city. But anyways, in the first, if you play this Sim Cities or City Skylines, right, you could create tornadoes. You could essentially do that with these, so that you have to be very careful. Let's say America has an issue with China, right, or if China controls it, right, and they have an issue with America, right, they could just essentially just create tornadoes and just destroy our economy. All right, that's not what we want. There's a reason why we didn't give this to the American government, was because no one company truly should ever control these domes that move us through space, all right? And truthfully, the world itself needs to be united as one before this even happens, because if someone creates something like this, they essentially will control a lot of things on this planet. Like if there's a tornado, or if there's rain, or if there's a fire, lightning storm, all that stuff. And so you don't want that, all right? So essentially, we could use negative poles to push on the south pole to push it through space, and this obviously would just act as a wind barrier. All right, that's the idea that I came up with after pondering about stuff. All right, so all right, I'm gonna blow that all the way. Right. All right, and I'm gonna recharge this. Shoot, did I do the black pepper? Oh, who cares? Don't matter. Well, anyway, so I'm gonna charge this more, all right, than normal. Well, not than normal, I guess. I'm just gonna recharge this, all right, people. So just bear with me for a second, as wood is a lot easier to work with, obviously, because of how light it is, compared to rock. So I'm going to show you some stuff through wood, alright? Now, if you might think, oh, well, this is inanimate objects, right? You know, what about live objects, right? Well, I will say that we did get insects to be able to walk on our gravitational pull, alright? Obviously, they're the smallest thing. We were able to generate enough that we were actually able to pull insect's corp onto it and stand on it. And but that was 2 years ago, like I said, in 2023. I deleted all the footages at the time because I wanted to keep the knowledge to myself, because obviously I was greedy, and it is my research, so it was my right to. So if you have any complaints, maybe you should have discovered this. Yeah. But anyways, so it works on animate objects, live objects. And like I said, this is a fraction, all right, of Earth's EF. You know what I mean? And so you're not gonna get this like, oh my gosh, I didn't get a piece of giant rock. You know, obviously I'm not. So this is the third time we had 10 minutes left. I don't really feel like repeating myself over and over again. So I think I might have left out some stuff, truthfully, that I might have forgotten about, because I don't want to just talk about the same thing over and over again in my life. It gets boring to me. Just like how I'm bored right now. But Alright, so just give me a few minutes to rub this. Oh yes, I forgot the greatest joke. For all you people who still think that the world is flat. Yes. It's a flat board, people. It's a flat board that pulls on gravity. And it's got its gravity and gravitational field. So, as you can see, styrofoam upside down, whichever way, not fall, well, except for that made it fall. But if I do slow, where I'm not creating a gust to throw it off, still, oops, right there, still on. So yes. So that is my flat Earth joke, people. If you think it was funny, great. If not, oh well. Okay, let me get back to what I was originally doing. Let me just rotate that because I see a glare. Okay, so I gotta get the styrofoam off because they're absorbing the charge. Alright, so that's actually very counterproductive to what I'm doing because it's stealing my charge. Alright, so if I had the drill, I could just... actually, no, can you get the drill ready? I'm getting tired of this. It's 30 minutes in, alright? 40 minutes in. We got 20 more minutes, 19 more minutes, alright, to show them the last of it. Alright. I think I covered everything, right?
I think you did. That's why I'm wondering why you want the drill.
Oh, there's something I wanted to show. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of things are starting to pick up. And obviously, how as I'm rubbing it, it's shifting the EF, you know what I mean, through static, electrostatic. And so that's why you see all this movement in there. And obviously, I'm not even, I guess you could call that dark energy, right? My dark energy joke, okay. But yes, and it's not done by air pressure. So like I said, our first 4 boards, we screwed it down, right? We screwed it down, I think with, was it aluminum screws or something that, it was like, it was for, I don't know, I forget what type of screw it was. But yeah, we screwed it down so that there will be no movement, and so air pressure wouldn't play a factor into why things moved. And it was just purely by me disrupting the electrical field within the room, alright? But yeah, when you did think about it, and there's also one thing we gotta be careful about, is what materials we're moving from this planet as we go harvest the other planets. Because if we weaken the EF of this planet, right, then if we weaken it, then obviously things are gonna start falling off this planet as it rotates away from its position. Okay. Fell off. Okay, can you fix that while I keep rubbing? Sorry. So there's... Alright, I guess we could kind of talk about the equation, right? So G stands for gravity equals, you know, the material that you're using, right? So it's styrofoam has a different, you know, EF, where it doesn't even have an EF, it just holds an EF, right? Compared to plexiglass, compared to our materials, right? So the material that is generating the gravity, or you know, or that whatever material you're using for the gravity, right? So obviously every material has a different EF, and so the material and then the mass of the object in which you're trying to pull. It's not about if it was about Newton's law, mass 1, mass 2. Earlier, when I did what I did, you would have seen that the styrofoam would all just stuck, but it requires the styrofoam be charged in order for it to stick. So that itself, the styrofoam has a gravitational force. Yes, it does have gravitational force, but not one strong enough where it pulls things. But it's one strong enough where it sticks on, you know. No, it's fine. Oh gosh, can you please do it better again? I know, you need to work on that. The problem is because every time I always did it, you know, and you just kind of watched it, you never actually thought about how I wrapped it. Oh, so I'm not gonna do the equation. Obviously, I'm already giving you what causes gravity. Is better than giving you a long article that you will never probably ever read or care to read. You know, some kid who makes like 6-digit at Harvard or whatever, you know, or wants to prove himself, I guess, be the smartest and brightest, can do it because, you know. And truthfully, I was kind of disappointed, you know, like, all these millions of dollars, you know, and this cost me, the wood was free, the plexiglass I had to buy, you could buy from any hardware store. Yeah, this is, alright, I'm getting tired. Okay, hopefully you did a good job this time. As you can see, it makes a giant mess, and it's not great to use. Shit, it just made a mess. Oh, and I give up because I'm tired.
You explained everything.
I explained everything, right?
Yeah.
And I think I showed them the whole dark energy thing. It didn't look as cool as before, but oh well. I don't know. I just don't even want to talk about this anymore.
We gave them a good jumping off point.
Yeah, they got it, you know.
This, what you will.
Yeah, and so yeah, you know, you could do it yourself. Like I said, if you're a naysayer, you think this is all fake, you know, prove us otherwise. Go get a piece of wood from the dump, like I did, or anywhere that you get a piece of wood, or just something that's not EF like this. All right, you don't want to use this, because I did, and you see this? Yeah, it's not the greatest thing to use, because I just want to see what it did, but yeah, and yeah, I'm just.
Well, this is the lazy wife signing off. Do with this what you will.
Oh yeah, so we did it with water too. It might look like it's just steam, you know, or whatever, but yeah. So what we did with water was we lined the inside with epoxy so that the water wouldn't be absorbed into the wood. And then we put a water in there, or you can put a cap with water and then, you know, go with it, and you'll see that the water particles will, like, it's very slowly, you know what I mean? But you can't use too much because of how water works. So you have to do like a little bit, yeah. But you'll see that water sticks. Just like this annoying. Okay, well, I guess that's it. I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, I mean, I did that joke way too many times. It's not even funny anymore to me. All right, okay. I guess I'm just bored. Alright. Yeah, I guess that's it for the video. Guys saw the wood, the saw. I mean, if you didn't see the saw, you could do it. You'll see the saw sticks. You know, the saw is really hard to see, for one. All right, especially at this thin of a saw, you know, so you see that it's sticking. All right, so you're gonna like, if you didn't see it in the video, it's because of how small it is. You know, I see it right there, but yeah. There's a lot of things that are sticking onto it now. And oh yes, I remember now. So when you buy your plexiglass, right, it usually comes with a piece of plastic that's stuck onto right through I believe static, right? When you rip it off, you're gonna be able to stick anything you want to it, right? Because it's pre-charged, all right? To is I guess maximum charge. So what you're gonna have to do is wash it, all right? Once you wash it, I always take a microfiber cloth, and what I'll do is I will wipe it down, and then I will generate the EF myself through, you know, you could use a drill, and attach something that generates a lot of static, or if you create just a machine that creates EF, great for that too. But yeah, so it's just not plexiglass that does this. It's anything that has an EF. So I guess just talking. We'll just talk. See that little piece of wood. So I'll just show you this wood as I talk. So one of the things, right? That one of the art objects that I used, I noticed. Okay, so because I'm into carpentry as a hobby to fix up my house, and that's just as a hobby in general these days. Before I get bored of it. So I use a tube, right? And it's I believe it's a Ryobi one for my planer, and because of the planer, right? Because it generates so much static from the wood passing through. If you have a planer, I don't want to show it to you because I don't want you to be, because then you'll see my garage and all, and then you know I'm doing this to keep my my privacy. And so if you use a planer, you put it like a Ryobi vacuum tube, right, for your dust exfil. If you ever noticed, if you're a carpenter, right, or you do with planers, how the wood chips will start to get sucked to the tube. You know what I mean? That's another great example. I mean, if you guess if there's a carpenter out there who wants to show that. I thought about showing it, but I decided against it afterwards. But yes, that wood is just stuck, and then I'm just moving it, and it's on the other side. So, like I said, like if you understand it well enough, you could actually create tornadoes and such, and it's not great for one country. So yeah, so the process, that's it. That was the process. So get a piece of wood. Why I did to carve this out was I use a router to do this, and then one thing I noticed too was so in the other boards that I had, right, I cut them into sections because of what I was experimenting on. And in between, there was little slips for wooden doors that I had, and that helped also the electrostatic to move through and grab things a lot better, easier and faster. Maybe in the future I'll show it to you if I do it, just how easier it is, because of how the electrostatic is able to pass through, But because of how it is right now, you can't really see. And I know that this glare is not helping with the video. shoot, yeah, it's just not good. But so, anyways, that's it. I wanted to keep it under an hour, and I was able to. If I guess if you guys have a hard time seeing some stuff, I guess I'll have to review the video to see if like I can even see. I don't know. But if not, then like I said, you could do it yourself. Piece of wood, plexiglass from any hardware store. I'm not gonna say where I bought it because I'm not trying to advertise for any one company. And yeah, it's really cheap. And you can like, wow, this is gravity, huh? A lot simpler than you thought. But remember, the mass. So if you try to do rock, right? Rock is heavy. Rock is heavy, and so you're not gonna get the results you want fast. You have to generate. So if you want to do rock, truthfully, as soon as you buy the plexiglass, you rip off the glass, right? Go get a piece of pebble and crush it with a hammer, and then have it and watch as it sticks. All right, that's the best time and best way to see it because it's really supercharged. If you want to do it with rocks. Obviously, I didn't, have it charged enough, and I'm just out of shape in general. Okay, and I believe that's it. That I covered everything. How to prep your board. But yeah, so that's it. All right.